Hey guys, it's Mike. Happy New Year. I wanted to make a video for a while now, but I've been unable to because of I have to be a little bit quiet at night, and I always finish my job towards evening, but um, I also, not really towards evening, like actually late, but also the lighting conditions in this room are really poor, even though we do have two big windows. But it always ends up looking darker than I think it will. But I wanted to show you some new things that I got. I went to Akihabara, that's like Akihabara, I guess if we say in English usually. And if you don't know Akihabara, it's kind of a place where all the nerds or geeks hang out, comic book people, manga people, and it's a great place to go if you're looking for toys in Japan. It has some things like Marvel stuff. It has more and more every year, but it's still mostly Japanese things. But occasionally the things that you can find there are pretty cool or very unique. And I wanted to show you that I found this awesome set. We call it Gacha Gacha toys in Japan. It's like these little capsule guys you can pop open. I'm sure you're familiar with them if you're from America or Japan, but in the States we usually just called it the machine, or the machines. Check the machines when I was a kid. But the machines in America usually cost 25 cents when I was a kid. Sometimes they have candy, sometimes they have toys. In Japan, almost always they're toys, unless they're more like an American style candy machine. Then the price is a little bit cheaper, but in Japan, usually they cost at least 200 yen, about $2, but usually they cost 300 yen these days, and more often 400 yen, and even a few toys that are 500 yen. So the things that I wanted to show you today are the Jaws themed guys. That's the main thing I wanted to show you today. But I got this set and I really wanted to get a specific one, so basically I ended up getting the whole set because I just had to keep putting in more and more coins. But I got a few extras, but the extras go really well with the Jaws board game, so I'm going to use those at my school for that. This is the little paper that came with it. I'll try to show you here. It's got 4 sets. One is the lady swimming in the water with the shark coming behind her. Another is Jaws coming from underneath the water, like the cover of the movie. Another is Brody shooting the shark at the end of the movie. And the last one is the one I really wanted. That's Jaws with the little air tank that you can put in his mouth. And he's pretty posable. But so I just opened this one. This is actually the skinny dipping lady at the beginning of the movie. You can put, there's a little fin that came with it, so you can put the fin in the water. There we go. It's obviously really close to her, but that's okay. It looks cool. The detail on the water is pretty nice for the waves too. They've painted it a bit, and the plastic color they chose is pretty nice, like transparent or translucent, I guess you could say. But it's not exactly transparent. It's hard to see through, but and then the second set was this one with with the shark coming up from below, and the shark itself is pretty well detailed. It's got a bunch of little scuffs and scratches all over his mouth, similar to how he looks in the movie. And if you put your fingernail in here just right, you can pop open his mouth. I think he doesn't have too much like blood on the teeth, but the other one that you'll see later actually has blood on his teeth. It's kind of severe, but what's it say here? It says T Arts. I think it's Tomy Arts, maybe. Made in China. UCS something, LLC. Anyway, the quality is very good. Like I said, it cost about $4. But you put these guys on here, and you put this up here. And if you remove the fin and put it this way, it's kind of to recreate the cover of the movie. If I can show you that. Kind of like that. You do have to open his mouth up a little bit, I guess. Ah. Okay, and then the other guys, this is Brody shooting the shark. The shark has the little air tank inside of its mouth. Hopefully the camera picks this up because the detail on this figure is really cool. Brody himself looks really rough. I don't know why, but the detail on the shark is so good and the detail on the man is so bad. It kind of reminds me of the early HeroClix figures from decades ago. But yeah, they did a pretty cool job to recreate this scene with a little tiny miniature. So, and like I said, the price is not cheap, exactly $4 for a capsule toy, but the quality overall is well worth it. And then the last one that I was really wanting to get is the shark. And his head was off and his stomach was separated like this. And then you just assemble him, put the tail in here, pop this on here. It's a bit of a tight fit, but it's nice and secure once you get it. And his head, the ball joint, I'm a bit leery of bending it too much. It feels kind of like the joints where you're not sure if the plastic is bending or if the joint is actually moving properly. But I twisted its head several times around and it seemed to be okay. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did that because I was morbidly curious. I don't know if that counts as morbid, but anyway. And his jaw opens up. His teeth are pretty red looking on the bottom. And you can place that teeny tiny little air barrel, pressurized air barrel into his mouth and make it look similar to the movie. I guess the movie would be this way probably. But anyway, he's really cool. He can pose a little bit and his head can twist around some, but I'm not gonna twist it more. I'm still scared about that one. Okay, so that's the Jaws guys that I really wanted to show. And the Gacha Gacha things are awesome because they often have sets that are animal based. If you're a G.I. Joe fan, some of the cool G.I. Joes have animals with them. It's like a little animal friend. It gets pretty ridiculous sometimes, but it's a very cool idea and it works well with kids, I think. But I was thinking of making a new character for the Red Shadows Mad Scientists because they're basically doing the bioengineering for this Kraken guy that we came up with, like for our story, for Paho and I's story. And for this idea, and I thought the perfect creature would be a companion animal that is a thylacine. That's like a Tasmanian tiger, the extinct Tasmanian tiger. And this set is kind of an extinct animal set. It's got a dodo bird. What else does it got? One of the sea cows or manatees. It's got a few different guys that are extinct, but unfortunately, but it does look really cool for the level of detail. Don't know how much you can see on the camera, but hopefully you can see a bit, especially if I put my hand or something to help it focus. And it's a pretty good scale with G.I. Joes for the size. And another cool one that's an animal one that we got recently was this alligator. I think it's an American alligator. At least it looks like an American alligator. And his head is on a ball joint. His mouth opens and closes. He came with this tiny turtle that is mostly tucked into its shell. I guess it's supposed to be he can chomp on him, and his tail moves back and forth. Whoop, he lost the turtle when I moved his tail. But my son has been playing with this guy a lot, so his mouth is getting a little bit loose. And then another thing to go with the Red Shadows or G.I. Joes, this is a little tiny Gacha Gacha fireplace. It also has some wood pieces that go on the top. It's like a one piece thing, but it looks like a bunch of twigs. And then it has this glowing part that you can turn on, put a battery and turn it on, and these kind of hollow stones. So it's great for making a little diorama. And then I also got this little burner for the Red Shadows base, like for their laboratory, and a tiny laptop computer which I modified a little bit to look like it's doing some kind of genetic experiments with the creatures they're creating. A thing that I might have shown in the background before, the Skeletron of the Red Shadows. This one is the thing that a lot of people would like to have, but they're quite expensive and usually they're faded. They're kind of hard to get a hold of, or they've lost their stickers. So as an alternative, I've been using some of these Japanese figures. I guess this is the best example to show you, but you can see these guys. They come in a variety of colors, but they're part of the series that is all kind of skull themed, and they have really good posability. This is one with a G.I. Joe gun he's holding on here. This is another guy. We've got Super Soldier's shiny gun. I always liked that gun when I was a kid. And this is one of Techno Viper's tools here. So what I did was I combined the white one that's from a series that has, oddly enough, kind of like furniture. It has a big table, like a dining table, and a big throne type chair. And that series comes with a white skeleton figure. And then this series comes with the red skeleton figure that you can see here. It does have weapons, but I don't really use these weapons very often. And you just mix and match, and you can make something that looks a bit like a Skeletron. So it is, of course, a bit taller, but it does go really well with the G.I. Joe scale figures. And if you have the inverted colors, you can make some guys with those. We usually say these are kind of like elite guys that are the bodyguards. I also have a flat gray one here. We said he's the prototype, or he's being worked on or something like that. And then similar to that set, you have these other guys that are a little more humanoid looking, but somehow these guys come apart more easily than the Skeletron ones. So they also have the crunch, ab crunch, and they've got a ball joint for their head. Their posability is amazing. Usually they cost $4 or 400 yen, I should say. 4 100 yen coins. Okay, and then I also wanted to say one thing. I was doing the Red Shadows homemade base, and to decorate the base I wanted to add lots of detail. To add the detail, basically I bought lots of things at the 100 yen store, kind of like a dollar store. And I bought a lot of things to decorate the inside, to make some things that look like sort of military, or sort of like give it a little lived-in feeling. But one of the things that I was also working on was a Miss Fear themed base. And if you don't know Miss Fear, it's basically a character that was adapted to be used with G.I. Joe for maybe only a single time, I think. This was probably about 10 to 15 years ago. They made a Miss Fear like 12-inch scale G.I. Joe lady. And she's supposed to kind of be like a Chinese assassin who is the son of a Chinese official, I think, or a politician's daughter or something like this. It's kind of weird, and maybe she's half Chinese, but anyway, I thought she was kind of a cool character as a unique agent. And so I thought it would be interesting as a storyline for G.I. Joe where the Misfear is kind of like an organization. And I worked on a base for that group. I just called them collectively Misfear. And I bought these other Gacha Gacha things as decorations for her base. So this one is like a lantern, but you can turn it on here. It has kind of bamboo details. It also has little birds on it, but it's part of a series. I'll turn that off so I don't waste all the power. It's part of a series. Each one has a different theme. Some of them seem to be based on seasons, but also some of them seem to be based on animals a little bit. So it's kind of a mystery what they were going for. But I need to read kanji, then I could tell what it's supposed to be. And I also have Misfear collecting kind of valuable artifacts, or maybe doing professional level thefts of valuable artifacts. And I thought this kind of went well with the theme. This is very much a Japanese thing, or Japanese inspired thing, but some of the colors can look a little bit Chinese. But this is kind of like with a kabuto, a samurai helmet, and the armor. It doesn't really look like traditional art, but it does look enough like a kitsune, like a folklore image of the fox, to be kind of old looking. So, and I thought the color scheme, the Misfear, we mainly went with like yellow and green as the color scheme. And this one has a nice deep green to some of the armor. So, okay. That is basically it for the joys of the Gacha Gacha vending machines. I have a few other things, but I think I'll save them for another video. I think this one is going to be too long to do all of the things, but I'll give you an update on the Gacha Gacha things. I think I told, but it's supposed to be Gacha Gacha when you turn the crank. That's the idea of the sound for Japanese culture's idea. There's also the company called Gachapon. That's supposed to be Gacha Gacha and then pon when the little capsule pops out of the machine. But living in Tokyo area, most people here say Gacha Gacha. So, but anyway, okay, that's enough for now. Happy New Year, and I hope you can join me for some videos this year. I'll try to improve the lighting, and I'm starting to work on editing just a little bit. So if I have some serious screw-ups, I'll try to take care of them from now on. Okay, thank you for joining me. That's it. See you next time.